I'm like, oh. I mean, if he knows that, I mean, oh, he knows that. Oh. And he goes on, he says, but don't worry, I'll help you, and blah, blah, blah. He talks, and, we're cool. He gives me a hug. We're hanging out. We're cool, me and Baba. You're hanging. The only question that I asked him in that interview was, can I kiss your feet? And I'm telling you, he had to shake me off because I was like, drool. I mean, Saber Dogs had to come in with mops and buckets to get all his drool. Now, I am blown away, all right? I was at the ashram for 6 days. I had 3 interviews during that period. Now, there's this attitude that some people adopt about the interview. Oh, you are very blessed. And then some people, the ego rises up there. You are special. I have another outlook. Baba once said that the world is a hospital. All the countries are different wards. And Prashanti Nilayam is the intensive care unit. Okay? Now, this doctor from Australia took it a little further. He said twice a day, the head surgeon comes out and makes his rounds. And he looks to see who needs maybe a little medication, a little vibhuti, who needs just a word or something, and who needs just a little sand time, or nowadays concrete time. All right? And then he sees who needs surgery, which is the interview. So I figured that I was an emergency case. Get this boy in here quick and often. He needs a lot of help right now. Now, I'm just blown away by this whole thing. I'm like, wow. So after, like, the 5th day, my 3rd interview with Baba, humbling moment in the first interview. Baba says to me, what is your profession? I said, I'm an acupuncturist. And then he played the nut roll. You're like, what is that? And somebody explained it. He said, oh, Chinese needles. He says, yes. What is your success rate? Set up. Now, I had this magic figure that I used to give whenever people asked me that because it was a very common question. What is your success rate? 70%. I would just, blurt. I don't know where it came from. It sounded good. I'd say 70%, and everybody would say, oh, that's very good. Here's my money. Stick needles in me. I say this to Baba, 70%. Baba starts to laugh like I have never seen him laugh before. I'm talking about, he was like, ah. I mean, he's just about choking. He's like, ah. He's slapping his leg. I think tears are rolling from his eyes. He's laughing. He's like, and I'm standing there like, what's so funny? What's so funny? And then he laughing and laughing. All of a sudden, he turns like, no. That's just your imagination. Needless to say, I didn't give that figure to anybody no more. Okay? That was the last time that came out of my mouth. So my 3rd interview with Baba on my 5th day at the ashram, Baba had asked me on a 2nd occasion, on my 2nd interview, what did I want? I told him I wanted to be a good healer. He told me, do good, be good, see good, and you'll be a good healer. But I got the impression that he wasn't satisfied with the answers that I was giving him. So in my 3rd interview, he had asked me how long was I going to stay. Well, it was getting good to me. I'm having an interview every other day or so. He's materializing things. He had materialized a ring for me. We're hanging out. We're hugging. We're tight. So I said, well, maybe a few weeks, maybe a month. This is like, I'm having a great time here. I'm hanging out with the avatar and all that. Yeah, He says, no, you leave tomorrow or the next day. Your work is there. So next day I make arrangements to leave. But in this interview, as we're getting ready to leave, there are all the people in the main interview room there. Everybody's standing up, and Baba turns to me again. He says, what do you want? Now, every time before, I had just given an answer that came off the top of my head. This time, I'm like, this is deep. This is deep. Let's not rush out with this. So I'm thinking. And everybody's standing and looking at me like, what do you want? And Baba looks at me again. He says, what do And I'm thinking, and I say, love. He says, yes, yes, yes. Like, dummy, you got it. And I was like, whew. If I never passed another test in my life, I passed that one, and it was good. So the so the next day, I leave, I go to Bangalore, I go back to the Hotel Harsha, I check in again, and I proceed to freak. I mean, what is the protocol for meeting God? Okay? What you supposed to do now? I mean, Moses talked with God, and Muhammad talked with God, and Mike rapped with God. I'm going nuts. I'm like, and so I'm trying to get back. Part of me wants to get back to the old Mike. All right? Dennis Gersten has this song. You may have heard it on his English song tape. It goes, this Lord of ours is tough, and he don't give an inch. And if you feel like running, you're really in a pinch. Because all the doors are closed leading back to yesterday. So you might as well surrender, because he'll get you anyway. I didn't know that at the time. So I was putting up a battle with this new God stuff. I'm like, well, let me get back to old Mike. So I had these tapes that I had been traveling with because I like to boogie. I got a boogie body. I like to boogie. I've been traveling around the world, going to clubs. I'd pop this tape in, hit the flow, turn the place out. Well, I put in this tape because I figured, I'll shake a little bit. Yeah, that'll get me back to, old Mike stuff, right? So I pop in this tape. This tape is by a reggae group called Third World. Now, the name of the song is Try Jah Love. Now, at this point, I had been boogieing to this tape all over the planet, but had never paid attention to the words. I put the tape in, and then the words hit me like a ton of bricks. It goes, a lonely soul was I without direction. I didn't know which way that I had to go. I sought the clues to life's unanswered questions. My mind's heart had to know. I heard your call while wandering through the darkness. I'd walk 1,000,000 miles to find that endless voice that speaks to me when I am in temptation, echoing my